What's up, guys? Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lanturn, bringing you guys our Week 4 team builder, taking on Gareth and the Hamilton Torracats. His team consists of Dracovish, Hippowdon, Empoleon, Orbeetle, Aromatisse, Murkrow, Mega Charizard X, Kartana, Electros, Alakazam, and Passimian. Priority users, he's got the Empoleon with Aqua Jet, and that is it. Hazard setting, he's got Hippowdon with Rocks, Empoleon with Rocks, and Orbeetle with Webs. Hazard removal, he's got Empoleon with Defog, Murkrow with Defog, Charizard X with Defog, and Kartana with Defog. So pretty much only Empoleon, because Murkrow is kind of an unmon. And then 4 times weaknesses is just the Kartana to Fire, although if you want to count pre-Mega Evolution, Mega Charizard X, before Mega Evolution is obviously weak to Rock. So getting up rocks is a solid strat in this game. In terms of what I'm not really expecting to come, Hippowdon and Murkrow are kind of the only two that I'm a little bit up in the air on. Hippowdon, I could see it coming as like a Coco answer. Outside of that, I'm not really sure what it really offers for him. It kind of just loses to my top 3 Mons, Galarian, Darm, Suicune, and Shaman. So I would be pretty worried if I was him about bringing Hippowdon against that, but you never know. He could definitely bring it pretty much exclusively as a Coco answer. It's not really a Rotomancer, and it kind of loses to almost everything else on the team. It can't hit Bronzong at all. I mean, the only reason you would probably bring it is as a rocker, and I think that Empoleon would do that job better this week. And I think that Orbeetle is coming to set webs, and that's about where I'm at with that. So, yeah, I don't think Hippo really makes a ton of sense. He could definitely bring it. Dracovish is allowed Sand Rush. I generally think that Strongjaw Dracovish is better than Sand Rush, just because it's not really that strong. And so if you pop a Scarf or a Band on it, then it works a little bit better with Strongjaw Vicious Rend instead of Sand Rush Vicious Rend. Just my opinion, though. Murkrow is the other thing I'm not really expecting in this game. I've got double electrics. It does beat one of them in Rotom, kind of. It loses hard to Coco, though, and it doesn't really perform super duper well against mons like Galarian Darm. It could be a decent Buzzwole check, but there's already an Aromatisse there that can do that, and an Orbeetle that can actually do that really well too, so... and an Alakazam to Revenge Kill always. So I'm not really sure that that Murkrow is generally the play against my team. Anything else I think could probably come. I'm a little bit iffy on Passimian. I'm not necessarily sold on the fact that Passimian would come. I think it's probably going to be like Dracovish, Empoleon, Orbeetle, Megazord X, Kartana, and then maybe Alakazam or Electros. Or Aromatisse. One of those 3 is probably coming. Passimian could come. Like I said, it could definitely come. I think Kartana is probably going to be one of his plays for sure to deal with Suicune. Otherwise, he's got a really rough time against Kun in this matchup. So let's talk about Kun then. I'm bringing a physically defensive Kun, which is designed to take on the Dracovish and the Mega Charizard X temporarily. I can't really... Like, the fact that my Bulky Water just doesn't get good recovery, and I actually can't use it with Coco on my team. I had to pull Coco off the team, but I can't even use it with Coco on my team. Kind of a yikes. I would have 100% preferred Melodic, but Magic took it really early. Toxic protects Scald Roar, so Scald is really only there over Surf because I want to burn something like Kartana that can't be Toxic anyways. I'd love to burn that, and I'd love to burn the Dracovish if I could as well, but Toxic spreading is really solid. I think Heal Bell Aromatisse probably comes. I've been known to spread Toxics and be Toxic throughout my career. Protect is really only there to like stall out sand turns if I have to and get recovery back, or like scout for what move the Dracovish is going to go for, things of that nature. Besides that, it's pretty useless. Again, scouting for something like a Passimian. Generally, Passimian wants to be choiced, and Gareth isn't the kind... He's got some wild sets, but he isn't the kind of guy to just, like, bring a ton of whack stuff. So I think Protect is still going to be useful there, although he's probably going to assume that I have Protect. The Calm Mind Kun doesn't look super fantastic against his team because his Special Breakers aren't as effective as his Physical Breakers. And then I've got Roar there. If the Charizard X gets out of hand, then I've got a way to deal with that. And that's just pretty much the idea behind the Kun set, is physically defensive Charizard X answer. Shaman is my relative Kartana answer. There are no Z-moves allowed in this league, so Kartana shouldn't be able to like boost through me. Although if it's SD, then that gets a little bit sketchy with like Smart Strike shenanigans. Seed Flare, Earth Power, Toxic, and Synthesis. Earth Power is there for the Kartana and the Mega Charizard X. Kartana does 4 times resist Seed Flare. It still does a lot because Kartana is just super weak. And I EV'd specifically, and I don't remember why. So I wish I would have made a note for myself, but Shaman is OHKOing something. And I don't remember what it is. I still have my Coco notes on here, which is irrelevant now because I'm not bringing Coco. Anyways, that's what Shaman was there for. Really, it's a great switch into the Hippo. I'm not certain that the Hippo is going to come. It's a decent secondary check to the Dracovish. Suicune is a little bit bulkier, 115 defense, 100 HP versus 100. So I can take Vicious Rend a little bit worse than Suicune can, but if Suicune gets chipped too much or something, then this could be a decent answer to the Vicious Rend as well. Earth Power also there for the Empoleon, but pretty much Seed Flare plus Earth Power hits everything bar Orbeetle and Murkrow, and so I've got Toxic there for both of those potentially, as well as Synthesis. I probably shouldn't stay in on them, but it's an alright move to click if they're switching in, and Seed Flare is relatively spammable against most of this team. Garchomp is next. Mega Chomp, I should say, is next with Rocks, Earthquake, Fire Blast, and Dragon Claw. Just 3 attacks with Rocks. Rocks very important in this matchup. I think it's going to be really difficult for him to get into a position where he can actually defog, especially because Empoleon is weak to my Mega Garchomp. I'm outspeeding Mega Charizard X prior to me Mega Evolving, and I've got Dragon Claw and Earthquake there just in case there's some mind games going on. But if it's not boosted, I should be able to live a hit and whatnot. I'm EV'd to 2-hit KO Orbeetle with Fire Blast, which I think is probably going to be the main switch into this. And with my attack investment, I should still like 2-shot Aromatisse with Earthquake. Something that I've seen Aromatisse's run against Garchomp in particular, to sort of force them to run Poison Jab, which I'm not covering for in this game, is Air Balloon Aromatisse, which is actually really cool tech, because then you're immune to dual stab from Garchomp, and it has to hit you with a coverage move. Sometimes it doesn't have a coverage move, so sometimes Aromatisse can actually just hard wall Garchomp with that set. I'm not sure that he's going to bring that. I'm not sure that he knows about that. Well, I'm sure he knows about Air Balloon, but I'm not sure that he would bring that set against me, so we'll sort of see. And that's pretty much the idea behind Garchomp. The only other reason I have Dragon Claw, I think, is for Electros and Murkrow, the Earthquake immunities. I'm running Scarf Salazzle, so I'm sort of just on the train of more offensive Salazzles and not trying to force it into like a defensive Toxic Stally set. So Flamethrower, Sludge Wave, I still have Toxic because Toxic is super useful and it'll help me wear down the Empoleon really, really well. But this will help me outspeed Scarf Kartana, which is going to be an issue, and it'll outspeed Mega Charizard X at +1. So if it's chipped enough, then Sludge Wave can do a ton of damage to that. And I'll always OHKO the Kartana with Flamethrower. If it's Occaberry, I'll OHKO it through Occaberry, I believe, anyways. And Overheat is there just as a nice little nuke for something late game if I have to. If it's Sash Alakazam, as long as I've broken the Sash, then this will be super helpful against that as well. There's no Rapid Spinners on this team to like boost or anything like that. One thing I gotta be worried about though is the Orbeetle with Webs. Really have to be worried about that, and I'm hoping that I replaced a move for Defog on Honchkrow. I cannot remember if I did or not. But yeah, that's Salazzle. Oh, I guess I stuck with the speed. I'm outrunning Kartana, so a little bit of bulk on there. And then Honchkrow's next. Yes, I do have Defog. So I should probably have Roost over this, actually. Ooh, or Brave Bird? Do I need Brave Bird? Night Slash is a little bit better. Okay, so I went around with a couple of Honchkrow sets. I was Bandit at one point, Bandit with Moxie, and I'm ending up with the Scope Lens Super Luck set, and that means that I get 100% crits on Night Slash because it's got a higher crit chance. So that raises it 1 stage, Super Luck raises it by 1 stage, and Scope Lens raises it by 1 stage, which is all three stages that you need for 100% crit. Realistically, I probably only need the 2, and critting Brave Bird is like really powerful against this team. But I have Night Slash there for a few things. Critting Sucker Punch is super helpful too. I think I actually like keeping Sucker Punch more, because Sucker Punch is really helpful and Night Slash isn't, and Roost will be pretty valuable in this one for me. So I'm outspeeding something in particular. I'm outspeeding No Speed Orbeetle. I'm actually creeping a little bit above that, like 20 speed Orbeetle or something is how much investment I have, which lets me run Adamant. I can't really naturally outspeed anything on his team, so this is just there. I'll already outspeed all of his walls. Unless he is max speed Empoleon, I'm also outspeeding Modest Empoleon with this. So unless it's like speed boosting nature Empoleon, which would be super weird against me, Empoleon actually should probably be running 0 speed against my team. There's almost no reason for it to be running any speed whatsoever, unless it's trying to creep like no speed Buzzwole or something. That would be the only thing I can think of. But yeah, so I should be outspeeding min speed Orbeetle, and I will have a really high chance to get crit Brave Birds. What is 2 times crit chance? I need to look up crit chance real quick. Crit chance Pokemon. Because I know that there's 3 stages, but I can't remember exactly what it is. Oh, critical hit, Bulbapedia. Stages. Okay, Gen 7 onwards. It is 50%. 50% for a crit. With this build. So, I mean, that's pretty good, because if you look at his team really quickly, just pop your eyes over to his team there. His flying resist is Empoleon and Electros. So Sucker Punch will deal with Electros, and Empoleon I can probably potentially roost on. I'm not sure there's a ton I can actually roost on. But since this is my defogger, it's kind of important that I have something ready to defog on the Orbeetle. I haven't really run a calc to see how much like Bug Buzz is doing, but I've got a little bit of HP on there, so it shouldn't two-shot. I don't know. Body Press Orbeetle could be pretty annoying too, but that's just kind of the downside of having Honchkrow here. I had defog Coco before with like Grass Knot and like Dazzling Gleam or something. Grass Knot, Dazzling Gleam, defog, and Roost or something. And I really wanted to bring Coco as a way to kill Empoleon, but I've got a lot of coverage on the team to be able to deal with Empoleon, so I don't think that Coco should be necessary. And Coco was really, it was like stopped by Electros, and it was really annoying against the Charizard. And Hippo, like the fact that I was trying to bring Coco against Hippo was a little bit sus, because Grass Knot seems really predictable. So I just didn't want to go with that. Last but not least is the star of this game, and we'll see if it can work. I really need Defog Honchkrow to pull through here. You know, Honchkrow's got a lot of offensive utility, especially with critting Sucker Punch would be super cool. But it's got a lot of utility in the defog here that's going to set up for Zen Mode Darm to go ham this game. I think Zen Mode Darm can probably set up on the Aromatisse. I know regular Darm can 100% set up on Aromatisse, and I'm questioning whether or not Zen Mode can or not. I might be able to set up on the Orbeetle, I'm not sure. Pretty much the goal is to threaten something out, sub on it, Belly Drum, and then just win from there. But Scarf Kartana could definitely put an issue into that. But if I can break enough for Salazzle to do it, then that would be fine as well. I have to be worried about Roar and Empoleon, so I'm not sure how I want to play this in terms of subbing. But at +6, I OHKO everything on this team with the combination of Ice Punch and Earthquake. Earthquake OHKOs the Empoleon, which Ice Punch wouldn't, and I'm pretty sure that's it. Ice Punch kills everything else at +6, so we'll sort of see how that goes. I am outspeeding Murkrow, so if it's max speed Murkrow, that's a thing, but it also does have Prankster Feather Dance, which is kind of a problem. I'm not entirely sure that Murkrow can actually break my sub, but I wouldn't be surprised if it had Foul Play, and I guess I will actually just look here to see if it does get Foul Play. So if it has Foul Play, then it could break my sub for sure, and that would be really annoying, and I would probably be regretting my pick of not just like slapping a Choice Band on this, which is also fairly effective, but it does kind of lead to Mega Charizard X being in a position to come in for free, or Empoleon to come in for free. It was something I considered, and it might be a last-minute change that I make, is to turn this into a Banded set instead of a Sub-Salackberry set, or like another Scarfer to combine with the Salazzle. So we will see about that one. U-turn could definitely be super helpful in terms of bringing in like Honchkrow, or bringing in like Garchomp on Empoleon when it comes in, because if I'm being honest, the actual resistances to Galarian Darm on this team are not very good. So you know what? I'm actually just going to take the initiative on myself and just change it now. But I'll make it... what do I want here? Flare Blitz? I don't think I need Flare Blitz. It brings in the Kartana, which is why it's slightly a yikes. I guess I could just run Crash as well. But it kind of pivots on the Hippo. The thing is, I didn't want to get chipped down very easily, and it's going to get chipped down, unfortunately. There's just not really much I can do about that. Crash. Ice Punch for other scenarios. And Earthquake. Yeah, I think this is fine now. So we're still speeding Murkrow, and we just switched the setup a little bit. Banded would be really difficult for him to switch into, but I'm outsped by his threats. So it really depends if I want to use... Actually, I guess it doesn't really matter because I have Sucker Punch Honchkrow and Scarf Slazzle. So maybe Bandit is the play. And I just threaten out a lot of stuff with this. Pretty much Oko's half of his team, if not... Actually, I wonder if Bandit Oko's all of his team with some sort of move. So I don't know what was going through my head with Zen mode there, but I'm liking Bandit a little bit more. In terms of what I'm not bringing here, Kecleon, I just don't really think has a fantastic matchup. It could definitely match up well against like Alakazam, and that's about it. Coco, I mentioned it was on the team before. Buzzwole, I very much considered, but I wanted to bring Scarf Buzzwole, and I already had Scarf Slazzle, and then I had just switched to Scarf Darm and no more. Murkrow is a problem, and so is Aromatisse. I just didn't feel like I necessarily had all the coverage I wanted with Buzzwole this week, and it kind of brings in Mega Charizard X for free, which is also a yikes, so again, not bringing that. Rotom, not a terrible matchup this week, actually. Takes on the Electros pretty well. Can actually reasonably take on the Hippo, which is kind of cool. That's about it, actually. That's pretty much it for that. Things I'm worried about, I don't have the best answers to Passimian. In fact, I probably should have said that Passimian is likely coming, now that I'm thinking about it, because Buzzwole is like probably the best answer to that, and I'm not bringing Buzzwole because it just kind of gets smackarooed by Charizard and Cortana. So that is it for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you guys for the battle.